If you could mute yourself, please. All right, welcome, good morning, and this is our PD session just for reading specialists. Let me go into the present mode. Just for you guys. Please mute your microphone while we're sharing. My name is Rosemary Jane. My current role is in the IT department. I'm a technology training administrator on the Learning Technologies team. My background and training in education is I was a 10-year self-contained primary classroom teacher, taught kindergarten, first, second, and third grade across those 10 years, self-contained every year. And I did serve briefly as a K-6 computers, like a specials teacher. Kids went to gym, they went to computers. And so I taught that before I moved into this role. My training is that I have my master's in K-12 tech enhanced learning with the K-12 rating endorsement. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to ask Lindsay to go ahead and introduce herself.
I'm Lindsay Lenhoff. I'm a reading specialist 4 to 6 at Carson Elementary. I've been with the district 11 years. I've taught at Western Hills High School, Riverview East, and Hayes Porter, and now I'm currently at Carson.
Great, thanks, Lindsay. I want to go over your agenda today. Big shout out to Katie Enneking from Hamilton County ESC, who redesigned our agendas. I love the flow of this. So you, our target audience, are our reading specialists, and these are some of our targets that we want to hit today. We want to connect with how this pertains to me, and I'll let Lindsay fill that in a minute. We want to talk about creating a culture of digital co-teaching. Alternate pathways to success. We're going to look at sandboxes and groups. And then there's going to be a breakout session. Our goal is by midway, so by 11:30, we'll be breaking out into individual sessions. That is a loose frame. It could be anywhere from 11:30 to 11:35. So plan that you'll be exiting this meeting and going into another breakout, but we'll walk you right through how to do that. And so you'll choose which breakout you go into depending on what you want to do. Now, I want to let Lindsay open with a little bit about how this pertains to me while I open a poll for you. So Lindsay, if you could kind of take it away and talk with everybody about how this is.
So I have used Schoology previously when I was a classroom teacher. So it was really a different shift when it came to reading specialists. I had to kind of remind myself that I am not the teacher. So I've used Schoology with my regular ed teachers, 4th and 6th grade teachers, simply to help and facilitate with co-teaching. We started it back in January, my 6th grade team with problem of the days. So I would push him for 30 minutes. We'd do the problem of the days on Schoology and go over them, and then after the 30 minutes, I would do a pull out with my intervention groups, and it worked very, very well, co-teaching. Now, again, definitely a lot of collaboration with the 6th grade teacher to make sure that I wasn't overstepping my bounds, so building that relationship with her. Now, when we moved to the remote learning, it was kind of a seamless transition because me and her spoke, and we basically talked about how we still wanted to use Schoology in this remote learning setting because the kids had become familiar with it. They were used to the problem of the days, being on the computer and doing them. So we continued with that. And then she would put little mini lessons and other tier 1 instructional tools on Schoology. So when you do later on see my Schoology or see my 6th grade Schoology, even my 4th grade, you will see it's not just me posting stuff. There is a lot of stuff that my 6th grade teacher posted. So like the co-teaching kind of was seamless when we went into the remote learning, which made it a lot easier and a lot less stressful for, I think, both me and her, but also the students, just because they were familiar with the format of it all. So that's how we've been using it in the 4th and 6th grade.
I was muted. Sorry. Thanks,
You're
Lindsay,
fine.
for that quick introduction. So Lindsay was sharing a little bit. I did link the agenda in the chat. She shared a little bit with not only how this pertains to me for you as a reading specialist, but also how we can work on fostering that culture of digital co-teaching. So, so let's move on to, I'm actually going to hold off on the opening poll. I don't have that linked for a reason. I've got it queued up. I don't want to launch it yet. I want to give you some context. And we're going to move into the why, the future of schools. There is a committee or task force, whatever you want to call them, called the Future of Schools. It is represented by senior leadership, curriculum managers, principals, parents, teachers, other staff roles like custodians, transportation. This team meets every week to discuss our future state when we return. And the one thing that we know with certainty is we have to be prepared for multiple ways to return with our students. The 3 ways that have been defined and described by our governor, as well as our district, is option 1, what we already know, face-to-face instruction back in school. We know that, or we're hopeful that that can return to that state as soon as possible. But with what we've learned from going from a face-to-face environment, if things do arise in the future, we have to be prepared with better elements of blended learning. So even if we return to fully face-to-face, we need to have blended learning options in place so that if there's ever another transition, whether it be for the whole school, a building, or even an individual student, those digital supports are in place. Option 2, there is a possibility that we could be returning to an altered state, part-time face-to-face and part-time digital remote, where students come 2 or 3 days a week to us, or maybe half days, and all of that is being worked out at the district level for optioning. So this could be led and directed by our governor, or it could be a district decision. But what we do know is we have to have our teachers and our staff prepared to teach in a possibly part-time setting, part-time face-to-face, part-time remote. So we're calling that blended or blended virtual. Another one that's been tossed around is blended flipped. So any of those terms that you have heard could pertain to the part-time. Then, of course, there's a situation that we are in now, which is fully remote, but taking a proactive position and planning for that. Instead of the reactive sort of crisis-based mode we had to teach in this way, we want to move forward with a proactive approach. So the future of schools, our why, is that we have to be prepared to have our teachers and students prepared for more online or digital learning. So the what of this has been announced. It was just announced last Friday by Deputy Superintendent Tiana Amat. We will all be using Schoology as our all-in-one hub. I will spare you, unless it comes up later in the questions, all of the details of the overwhelming feedback we've gotten from parents, staff, and even students. But with multiple platforms all across the district in place, it has been a confusing and difficult transition for parents supporting their students at home, and even students who are accountable to 4, 5, 10 different teachers when you count in their specials teachers and other enrichments. So students need one location they can go, and parents need one location where they can access all the children in their home and all of those children's teachers. So Schoology has been selected by our district as our learning management system, and it needs to become our all-in-one hub. So no one is saying that you can't and shouldn't use tools that work well for you, but they do need to be anchored in Schoology in a way that provides meaning to the classroom teacher, the students, and parents at home. Now we're getting oh, go ahead, Lindsay, add anything you want there.
Someone asked about Google Classroom.
Okay, that's a very good clarifying question, and I will spend a moment on that. Google Classroom is an online classroom system. Some people call it instruction management, or oh, there's another term for it. But Google Classroom is not, never has been, a learning management system. A learning management system ties to our student information system, or SIS, which is PowerSchool. All students are auto-rostered into a learning management system, assigned to their classroom teachers and anybody of record in their account, which does link to their attendance, grades, and all of those things. Parents can, when they connect with Schoology and PowerSchool, stick with their child's account from preschool through 12th grade. There is no transition for parents. So that's just the very quick description of what a learning management system is. Google Classroom is a great online platform for delivering lessons, and it has a beautiful interface. It works really great. I will share with you how we are suggesting you hub your Google Classroom and Schoology if you're not quite ready to make the transition yet. So no one is suggesting you have to stop using things that you include in Google Classroom, but you must include what you're doing and how students and parents access it in Schoology. So please don't use Google Classroom in isolation. Schoology should be your hub for connecting to content and communicating with students and parents. So some of the things that are in the Level 1 Distinguished Educator, just a quick reminder, all teaching staff should have that complete by May 22nd, which is this Friday. That self-assessment goes over the baseline things that we want everybody to be able to do using Schoology and other technology tools, and especially linking to your Office of Curriculum and Instruction maps and guides. All right, Google Classroom is a way to get the material easily to students have phones only. So what we're gonna not do is spend too much time debating the validity of one tool over another. Google Classroom is a great management content delivery. That's what it is, content delivery tool. No one's suggesting you have to stop using it, but you do have to link that in Schoology so that a parent, and I can show you the parent perspective. That's actually part of what's going on here today. The parent can anchor to all their students in one location. So we'll take a tour of a parent experience. That's actually part of my portion of the agenda. All right, let me go back on the agenda. So the how is your co-teaching course, left off the E there, or Sandbox. We're gonna get into this in a moment, but I think let's look first at why we have these breakouts. Lindsay's, how did I do this? And my breakout, what that will be. Q&A will be in each individual session. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to give you that option to answer this poll. So a couple quick things you need to do is make sure that you are in your reading specialist group. I'm dropping that link here now. Let's call it RS group. Make sure you're in your reading specialist group so you can participate in this poll. I'm about to launch it now, but just hold off before you vote because you want to hear a little bit about what Lindsay's going to show and share. She's going to spend about 2 to 3 minutes giving a quick walk and talk through what she does and how she does it. And then if you've already got a direction you're going, either with using Google Classroom or you've just never gotten started with any of those tools and you want to get down to some of the nuts and bolts, the how-tos, that's what I'll share. But so I'm not going to hit post on this just yet. What I'm going to do is hand it over to Lindsay for her to take over the screen and give us about a 2 to 3 minute walk and talk through.
So someone did ask about K-3 having access to devices.
Okay, so device access. Lindsay, do you want to go ahead and start presenting your screen while I answer that question? Thanks for grabbing that. It's always so much better to co-present with somebody on these sort of things so we don't miss your important questions. K-3 having access to devices. What I can tell you is that the current district plan is for grades 2 through 12 to begin next school year with a one-to-one take-home device, and the target date for that is September 1st. So again, students in grades 2 through 12 being assigned a one-to-one take-home device, and the target date is by September 1st. Now, in grades pre-K through 1, that those grade levels are still largely under they're in discussions of what the return will look like for them because they're not so sure that fully remote or even part-time is the best option for these very young learners. All of the things that it brings into play with an older sibling having to babysit their younger siblings while mom's at work. The developmental milestones and foundational reading skills that have to occur by the age of 6. Like there's just so many things that have to be considered that the plan for pre-K, K, and 1 has to be more solidly defined before we can talk about devices. But the long-term goal is that every Cincinnati public school child has a one-to-one device or access daily to the technology they need to learn. So that's the current status of devices.
Okay.
All right, Lindsay, if you could take it away on your walkthrough, talk through so that they can get a better context of this poll they're about to answer.
Okay. You guys can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is my Schoology. I am, when I click at courses, you will see I am connected to my 4th and 6th grade language arts teachers. That is a big thing that the first thing that you need to do, because there will not be a separate course for them. It makes it more manageable for the teachers. It makes it more manageable for you. It makes it more manageable for the students just to have a one-stop shop. So if you notice, I have my 4th grade, my 3 4th grade, and my 3 6th grade right here. So I'm just going to go to my 6th grade, kind of to show you what we've been doing. So if you notice on the platform that there are things that were posted by the regular ed teacher, communication that she wanted to put, mini lessons that she uploaded, and then what I did to add additional support and kind of to keep the kids comfortable, because we had done this again before, prior to going on remote learning. I was uploading weekly problem of the days. So I created a folder for every week. It had the due date, which typically I had for the weekend, so that the kids could, if they didn't have computer access every single day and they only had it every other day, they could do 2 problem of the days in one day. I told them that they got 2 attempts. And then also I uploaded review videos with them. So if we go into this one, what I did was, prior to the COVID-19, we were doing problem of the days the first 30 minutes, and then me and the special ed teacher and the classroom teacher were all kind of co-teaching and reviewing their problem of the days, addressing any misconceptions, any misunderstandings. We were doing that feedback within the first 30 minutes of class. So they do it on their own. We look at the results, see if we needed to reteach anything or go over anything. It could be as simple as a test taking strategy, or, obviously weekly it was the same standard, focus standard. So when remote learning happened, I wanted to create something so that they still had that review. They were still getting the feedback. They weren't just, here's problem of the days, do them on your own, good luck. I wanted to make sure that they were still feeling like we were providing feedback and helping them with any misunderstandings. So what I did was I had to create a YouTube channel, but after Monday and Tuesday's problem of the days, I posted a review video that basically went over those 2 problem of the days. It was PowerPoint form with narrations, and it went through those so that they could obviously practice the test taking strategies that we've talked about, but also sometimes it was as simple as, oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to click on a phrase and not just a word, or I didn't realize I was supposed to click on a sentence. So any of those little minor misconceptions they were able to address. And then on Friday, I did the same thing. It was a review video that went over the problem of the days from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Again, just to help them and support them and provide additional support while they were in remote learning. Also, what I did was a lot of times every day I would look at the problem of the day for that day, and I would look at the student results. And if a kid didn't get 100% or got a 2 out of 4, I would send them a message on here and basically say, hey, number 1 looks great, but you might want to change number 2. Take another look at number 2. So I would provide feedback daily, but these review videos definitely allowed for those students that maybe didn't check their mail every day or messages every day to actually get that feedback that they were used to in the classroom. So I did that for basically this week. We did not do one. This was catch up week. Any problem of the day they did not do, they needed to review and go over. But it was instant feedback. All the problem of the days are very OST type questions. So here's where I could see if the kid got a 2 out of 4. So I would have messaged him and say, take a look at number 1 again. This person did a second attempt, probably after I sent her a message, but they always got 2 attempts. And then the questions simply, and this was just copy and paste from the problem of the days that we had in Google Docs. Here was the passage, here was the multiple choice question. Here's the passage, here's the multiple choice question. There were also highlighting questions as well. We did not do any writing prompts, but we had done writing prompts prior to the COVID, but the writing prompts, I did not, she said she did not want to do those while we were doing the COVID stuff. So that is what I've been doing with remote learning, using Schoology to facilitate that kind of stuff. I also have thought about going back, potentially doing the Spire stuff via Schoology, trying to think of ways to do that as well. So.
All right, thanks, Lindsay, for sharing an overview of what you're doing and how it's working for you. I am going to hop into the chat just to make sure, one, that I get everybody's comments addressed. So one moment. And we're doing really great on our time with our agenda. I'm getting ready to release the poll, but let's take a look at some of the comments further up. Mary Burns, you said, just to clarify, can you go to Schoology and post a Google Classroom link? Thanks. Posting a link would not be sufficient. So Amy, your response that that's the only way you use it. I'm gonna ask you to maybe try to have a more open mindset as we go through this training. I'm gonna show you the recommendation, but for a parent or student at home, just posting a link would not be sufficient. That there's no context. There's no understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it. There's no point of reference. So yes, you can link to your Google Classroom, but no, just posting a link would not be sufficient. But don't worry, I'm going to show you a recommendation that you can take and completely make your own. All right, so we're going to go over here. This is getting ready to be launched, but not quite yet. I'm going to give you a little bit of a view of going back to this agenda. Lindsay went into her what she does, and option A on the poll is going to be Lindsay's How I Did This. So if you want to learn more from Lindsay,
We can't see your presentation again.
Cannot.
No, I can't.
So I'm going to refresh it, but I'll be back in and oh, so other
Some
people are saying they can.
I don't know why.
Lindsay, just stop presenting, and then your cover goes away. Sorry. Go to stop presenting your side.
I did.
And then now, can you see mine?
No, but it's okay.
Okay.
I know the agenda.
Yeah, but when I refreshed earlier, it helped you select. I am back in and presenting. Lindsay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. And you should be able to see my screen now. Can you? Lindsay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Great. So that's the Lindsay's How I Did This. If you want to go into her session in the deeper dive, you can certainly do that. The link in the agenda will take you in there. Don't go yet. It's not open yet. So then there is my session, a breakout session. And mine is a little bit more of a shift to how you do this. So let me go back up here to your co-teaching course for Sandbox. what Lindsay shared with you is sort of an ideal co-teaching situation. If you can team up with your core content teachers, and you feel confident that you can even do that right now because you don't have to wait until next year. You could join the current classes. You can post unpublished work. So there is things that you can do today. But if you're not confident that before you leave by the end of your contract that you can get in with your co-teaching partner, you can join our Sandbox course. So in the Sandbox course, you join it by entering this code. So I'll show you this. You would go to courses, my course. So if you don't have a course of your own yet, you're going to click on join a course, and you're just going to copy that code from the agenda and paste it in. Well, not that. So, oops, I think I actually accidentally cut it. Yeah, I sure did. Copy, paste, and join. I'm already in it, so it's going to say I'm already enrolled, but let me find your course. There we go. So when you join that course, it is called Reading Specialist Sandbox, Section 1, and everyone who joins this course today will be added as an administrator, meaning you can do everything you can do in a Schoology course. But we have set it up. Lindsay and I worked together on this. We've set it up, one, for you to have your own Sandbox folders that you're going to add materials to or things you want to share. And two, once you've got some content in there, you can add a little message about, here's what you can find in my Sandbox course. And I'll show you guys how to do that in my breakout session. So I'll give you a space where you can practice doing some of the things that Lindsay shared, but maybe you want to learn some of the nitty-gritty how to do it. That's what you'll be doing with me. The other one is making sure that you are in this group. So I am now posting that poll. Oh, now I'm deleting that poll because apparently I didn't post the poll. Super. 1 second. I don't know where my poll options went, but oh, geez Louise. All right, I lost some of the wording on here, but there we go. There's your poll options and post. Okay, Lindsay, can you jump into this? Oh, let me put your group on there again. In here, you can just drop it. You can click right on this and it'll take you in as long as you're a member. So you guys can go in there and take the poll. We want to see the results of the poll. I don't know why it's not posting my poll. Lindsay, can you see the poll?
No, the presentation went blank again, so I'm going to hop out and hop back in and see if it works.
Okay.
Technical difficulty.
Yep. I'm going to persist in this. I don't know, folks.
Rosemary, we can all see the poll except it seems Lindsay. If you look in the chat, most of us have taken it and can see it when we're in the reading specialist page.
Beautiful. It should be showing me your results. So, oh, perfect. Thank you, Amy. Let me delete. I wasn't seeing the poll itself, but thanks, Amy. So I'm going to get rid of the other one. There we go. So we've got 7 how-tos right now. So I will definitely open up my how-to session in just about 2 minutes. So I'm going to be walking you through your own Sandbox course in the how-to. I'm going to be making sure that you know how to join the Got My Thrive On and you know how to participate in that. Let me hop back to the agendas because these are your alternate pathways to success. So the ideal is creating that culture of a digital co-teaching environment. And if you can team up with your reading specialist, going into Lindsay's deeper dive would be a great option for you. If you're not sure you can team up with your gen ed teacher for reading, or you just aren't quite ready there, you can come into my session on the deeper dive. And what we are looking at is that the alternate pathways to success are the Sandbox course for learning how to build content and making sure that you understand that groups is not just a static thing. If you cannot co-teach with the teacher you're with, please do not request to have a course added. I work with teachers all the time whose students have navigation problems because they get enrolled in more than 12 courses because teachers are adding them. So I want to empower you with the opportunity to create a group for your reading special, for your role as a reading specialist for your students and even the teachers, if the teacher you work with is not open to, or if that culture of co-teaching hasn't really taken root yet. So I've got alternate pathways of success for you. So again, choose your deeper dive with Lindsay Lenoff. If you want to learn more, that's really going to be also a Q&A style. She'll show you whatever you need to know. You'll get to ask her questions about how she made it work. My how-tos are pretty much more on the technical side. So Lindsay, do you want to add anything else about your breakout session that I might be missing?
No, that was just about it, how to do the assessments and the writing assignments.
Yeah, so Lindsay's really getting more into the instructional side of the work and how she did that. Even if you are not in a co-teaching situation, if you are more interested in that side of things, join Lindsay's. If you've already got a plan in place for what you're going to do, and for those of you who are steadfast committed to using your Google Classroom, I'll definitely show you how to make that work in Schoology in my how-to session. So everybody's voice and need will be heard in your respective breakout sessions. So now we're about 1 minute behind schedule here. Okay. But if you're going to join Lindsay's session, Lindsay, she's going to launch that meeting. And Lindsay, just don't forget to hit record so that we have that for everybody afterwards. Okay. So make sure you record your session for anybody who misses it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to launch my session, but everybody before you exit, one moment please, everybody before you exit my session or Lindsay's, make sure you have clicked on this agenda, because at the end you will complete this contact hours evaluation. Just so you're aware, page 2 is in there for people who are doing the technical dive with me. So this page 2 doesn't apply if you're going with Lindsay. All right, we do need to transition to our groups. If you have a technical question, join mine. If you have a question about the deeper dive with Lindsay, join hers. Unless you think that it's absolutely for the good of everyone, I don't want to take time for questions here. I want to take them in our breakout session. So speak now or forever hold your peace. If you think we have to say something in the whole session, yes, Amy, both sessions will be available, so you don't have to miss anything. But it's just which one you want to participate in live right now. And so if you're listening later, you won't have the chance to ask Lindsay questions.
Okay.
So you may want to choose, I'm going to refresh this. And you don't have to go with what you voted in the poll. Lindsay and I just wanted to have an indicator. You know, I only see one indicated, but I'll be honest with you, my technical how-tos, it's all recorded and you can get my content. I hope some of you will take Lindsay up on her opportunity to see what she has done with her co-teachers. So with that, I am going to exit this meeting. I'm going to stop this recording.
Okay.